game where you can say my corpse collection is worth more than yours with pride in the cemetery.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play the Cemetery and the Darkness Falls expansion. Game designed and published by PandaForge.
And hi everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant, welcome to Meeple University.
And hey, if you enjoyed this video after watching, like, subscribe and comments. You know what to do. Right, now let's get to the classroom.
In the Cemetery, players are competing undertakers, trying to make sure that their cemetery is the one which houses the most prestigious clientele. Turn by turn, players will prepare tombs and fill them with the best and highest prestige corpses before working to dig them deep into the ground and ultimately to seal them for points. In this competitive world of undertaking, you'll often be trying to dig down in your own cemetery while digging up in your opponent's, even exhuming the bodies. But be warned, if anyone catches you burying a high prestige corpse in a low rent tomb, well, let's just say bad things are going to happen. Have the highest scoring corpses in your sealed tombs by the end of the game to be the winner. There are two versions of the game, the Standard and the Pet Edition, and these play identically. The only difference is the art on the cards. In this video, I'll be teaching you from the Standard game. To set up, simply shuffle the two decks of cards, the blue main deck and the green zombie deck. Leave room for a discard pile for each. Each player draws a starting hand of 5 cards. Everyone draws a zombie to see who goes first. Highest negative number is the first player. Shuffle all zombies back into the deck, and you're now ready to play. The game plays in turns clockwise around the table. Your turn begins with the resolution phase, but you need some cards on the table in your cemetery before anything happens here, and so we'll skip over the resolution phase for now. At the start of the game, your turn will begin with the action phase. During this phase, you'll use the cards in your hand to take 1, 2, or 3 actions. Each of the actions will require you to spend 1 or 2 cards from your hand. The 3 different types of actions are bury corpses, play developments, or play cards abilities. And within your 1, 2, or 3 actions, you can take these in any combination, including taking the same action multiple times. The first action is bury corpse, and this requires you to spend 2 cards from your hand, 1 tomb card and 1 corpse card. To take the action, reveal the tomb card face up on the table for all players to see like so, and then take the corpse card and secretly overlay it so all you can see on the tomb is the tomb heading and value. There is no restriction on what corpse you can put into which tomb. Each of them has a value number at the top, but you're allowed to place them on the table in any combination. Just be aware that pairing a corpse with a tomb of lower value comes with the later risk of spawning zombies, which are worth negative points. You are not allowed to have multiple unsealed tombs of the same value, meaning that this would not be a legal play. But that later on, once this tomb is sealed, and we'll talk about how that happens shortly, this would now become valid. The second type of action is to play a card for its ability. Choose a card from your hand and resolve the effect printed at the bottom below the bones before discarding it to the common discard pile. There are several types of effect. Here, for example, I could discard this card to simply draw another. However, among the most common and most important are the dig effects, and so let's learn about digging. To score a corpse, it needs to be in a sealed tomb, and to seal a tomb, you need to dig it below where you initially buried. When you play a dig card, choose any tomb in any cemetery, yours or another player's, and unless otherwise stated, dig it down or up. To dig down, slide the corpse either from burial level 1 to burial level 2, like so, or from burial level 2 to sealed. If I were to play this card to dig twice, up or down, I could dig this tomb down twice. 1, 2. When you dig up, you'll do this in reverse, and you'll usually only do this in an opponent's cemetery. Suppose it were another player's turn, and they played this dig 1 tomb on this tomb. I would now slide the card from burial level 2 back to burial level 1. Only unsealed tombs can be targeted for dig. This tomb is now safe from all future dig effects, either yours or your opponent's. If someone digs up on a tomb at burial level 1, the corpse in that tomb is exhumed. Here the opponent would play this card and target this tomb, which is resolved as follows. Reveal the corpse and compare its value with the value of the tomb. If the tomb is equal or higher, then simply discard both tomb and corpse to the discard pile. However, if a corpse is exhumed and the corpse's value is higher than that of the tomb, then you're punished with a zombie. Discard both the tomb and the corpse, and then draw the top card from the zombie deck into your cemetery. If it's still in your cemetery at the end of the game, you'll score a random negative number of points between -1 and -9. To get rid of a zombie, you'll need to play the card action on either the judge or the IT guy. With the judge, you kill the zombie, moving it to the discard pile, and with the IT guy, you give that zombie to any other player. You could also try to stop it from getting to that point by using the effects on the runner or the electrician. If on their turn someone tries to dig in your cemetery, you can play the runner out of turn to cancel that effect. You would discard the runner, and the player taking the action would discard the card and lose their action. You can likewise use the electrician out of turn to stop any dig action, whether they're trying to dig in your cemetery or their own or another player's. Some of the other card abilities involve gaining cards, manipulating your hand, or stealing cards from your opponent's hands. And players should also be aware of the King's special ability to exhume a sealed corpse. You may think you've got that high-value corpse safely sealed in your low-value tomb, but if someone plays the King's effect on a sealed tomb, that corpse is immediately exhumed and checked for zombification. The King's effect cannot be stopped by a runner or electrician. The last type of action is to play a development, and those are these green and red cards which you can pick up through the deck. To play a development, simply add it face up to any cemetery, and typically you'll place the good green developments in your own cemetery and the red bad developments in the cemetery of another player. Developments remain in their cemeteries until moved or discarded by an effect such as the swimmer or waiter. You can have at most one of each development type in your cemetery, and if you play a new good development on yourself, it replaces the old one which is discarded. So we now understand the 3 types of actions, and so let's go back and have a look at the full turn sequence. Your turn begins with the resolution phase, and up to 3 things may happen here based on the cards already in your cemetery in the following order. Firstly, you must resolve the negative effect on any bad developments in your cemetery. Here it would be digging up on your lowest valued unsealed tomb or discarding 1 card from hand. Next, you may choose to resolve your good development. Some of these are ongoing passive effects. Some of them require you to make a choice now for whether that effect will apply this round or not. This one, for example, stops anyone else from digging in your cemetery until the start of your next turn, at which point this is discarded. Finally, you resolve active printed effects on your level 2 tombs. The tombs with the higher values have an effect showing on the tombstone, and only if the corpse in the tomb is specifically at burial level 2 do you get to resolve that effect now. If the text is covered at burial level 1, or once the tomb has been sealed, you're not allowed to resolve that effect again. There are also some which resolve at end of turn. After resolution, you'll take your action phase, taking 1, 2, or 3 actions as described before. And finally is the adjustment phase. In most cases, you'll draw back up to 5 cards in hand. If you have between 5 and 10 cards, you do nothing. And if you have more than 10 cards in hand, which is your filled hand limit, then you must choose cards to discard until you are down to 10. Alternatively, after your resolution phase, if you don't want to take any actions, you can skip both actions and adjustment to draw 3 cards. Play now passes to the next player clockwise. The end of the game is triggered once any one player has 5 sealed tombs. Finish that turn and continue playing until all players have had the same number of turns. Now it's time to count up your final scores. Any tombs which were not fully sealed are discarded. Reveal the corpses in your sealed tombs and add up their values. At this point, it does not matter whether that is higher or lower than the tomb it's buried in. From your sum of corpse points, deduct any points for zombies, and the player with the highest score wins. If tied, whoever lost the fewest points from zombies breaks the tie, and if still tied, victory is shared. There are a few variants and expansions available for playing the cemetery. To play the simplified rules set, remove all of the developments from the main deck before you begin. Players begin with 6 cards instead of 5 and always redraw to a maximum hand limit of 6 at the end of each turn. You can take up to 5 actions per turn instead of 3, and the game ends immediately once someone has sealed 5 tombs without waiting for all players to have had the same number of turns. As mentioned at the start of the video, there are 2 versions, the standard and pet version, and you can play with either. They are completely identical except for the art. You can also mix both decks together to play the game at up to 8 players. There is also the Darkness Falls expansion pack, and this adds some extra features to the game. To set up Darkness Falls, shuffle separate decks of the event cards and the objective cards which do not have this green outline. From the objective cards, secretly deal each player 1 objective face down at the start of the game. You can look at your own objective and at the end of the game reveal it, and you'll score some extra points based on whether or not your cemetery meets the objective. Meanwhile, place the event deck in the center of the table. With the exception of the very start of the game, before the first player takes a turn, you'll reveal the next event card, and if it's an immediate effect, resolve it for all players in turn order. If it's a passive effect, then it will remain in effect as long as it is the top discarded event. In addition to the standard endgame trigger, the game can now also end if you get to the start of a round and there are no more events remaining. Finally, there is the ceremony, and when playing the ceremony, you will shuffle the human and pet versions of the game together into one large deck. Then either deal everyone a ceremony objective, which is the one that has the green border, or shuffle all the objectives together before dealing. The ceremony objectives all have effects, which score based on whether you've matched human or pet tombs with the appropriate type of corpse.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, maybe you'd like to watch this next one. Have a great day. Bye!